The next question that I would like to ask you is, so what are the career opportunities if I talk about? Because many younger generations, so they feel that they feel tension or the stress about what they are going to do in the future. So I would also like to ask you regarding the career aspects, because I came to know many of the students who have completed their graduation in environment, but still many times students from rural village, rural areas, so they don't know what are the career options in this. So if you can just guide students, so if they study environment, then what are the career options that they can have?
So, we are moving towards a green economy. And if you even look at India, um, there's policies everywhere that's fostering a green economy. So whether it's in renewable energy sources, India is a leader today in solar and wind, or whether you look at green technology, or whether you look at integrating sustainability. So if you just look at the SDG goals, the 17 SDG goals that are cutting across various sectors, right? This itself tells us that there is a huge opportunity and need for skilled people to work in these sectors with an outlook and competencies with regards to sustainability. So be it finance, be it the social sector, be it agriculture, be it land managers, be it industry managers, be it people who are working in policies in government, or people who are working in technology. So all of this needs professionals who understand how can you integrate these concepts into sectors. And I think this is one of the greatest opportunities that we have today. So it's a very, very dynamic and a very interesting field. And with the right passion and the right competency, you can be a professional who can integrate your expertise and science into any of these sectors, right from agriculture to industry to technology, to banking as well. Yeah, so it's a complete canvas over here. So in fact, the International Labour Organization, has stated in its report that more than 24 million jobs, would be available worldwide, new jobs that will be generated through the green economy. So the environmental sciences courses, actually train you to be a part of this new movement, to be a part of this new green economy. So I can only see that this is a very interesting field, very challenging. There's never a boring day in your life because you're dealing with real problems all the time. You are not only working with technology, you are also working with people. And you get to blend, both technology and people's choices together to bring about a solution that ultimately has an effect on the way humanity lives and will survive. What can be more challenging and more interesting than this? So I think careers in environmental sciences are really, really rewarding because I think it enables you to live a very full life.
What can be better than such a rewarding career? So where you have some goal which is larger than just earning, just having living, but you are also contributing towards the environment, society, also the people, the economy. So yes, I think everyone should think about it. And I guess you also answered during this discussion. So how to integrate the STEM or STEAM with the environmental education. So do you want to elaborate it or is it being answered?
I definitely want to elaborate on that because the focus for long has been on STEM, right? But I feel that there is a need to convert STEM into STEAM, yeah, which is basically the integration of arts, or as I would call it, social sciences into the natural sciences. And what the environment today needs is STEM. It needs people with this ability to work across disciplines. It needs people to move away from their silos, collaborate with people across disciplines, across sectors, because innovation can only happen when you move away from your silos. Yeah, and you have a cross fertilization of ideas. So I definitely think that STEM needs to be converted into STEAM, in all levels of education. And I think our national education policy actually today, really focuses on this aspect. What needs to be done is implementation um, in the right spirit.
Right. So hope so the NEP 2020 will be the milestone towards the new education or the new era of India in terms of global leader, and also sustainability in terms of India and in terms of world, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam as well. Yeah. So I know this is one very basic question because every one of us, so whether that is any normal student or any researcher or any even the people at level of president or prime minister, there comes some incident, some book, some podcast, some person who has a deep impact on that person, who changes the life of that person. So I would like to know what is the book or the person that changed you. So what you are
Um,
today.
Change for me has not been this one incident or one person or one book. It's actually, I think, uh, a coming together of various events in my own life. Whether it's been reading or whether it's been meeting people, having mentors. So it's all sort of that comes together that has really defined my thought process. But I'd like to just share a very, very interesting book that I deeply thought about. And yeah, it's here. It's called as I don't know whether you can see it, The
Yeah,
Hidden Life
the
of
hidden life of
Trees.
trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's about, how trees communicate with each other. Yeah. It's by Peter Wohlleben, who was a German forester. And this book is so interesting. It talks about how trees actually communicate with each other. And he's proved this through science, right? And this set me thinking. So we as a species think that, we communicate with each other, but there is probably 80% of life on Earth that we don't know how they communicate with each other, right? And this is really fascinating for me. It sort of opened my eyes to trees around me and to everything around me to try to understand how do they communicate with each other? How do they communicate danger? How do they communicate, what they feel? How do they communicate about cooperation? And all of this is there in this book. Yeah. So I think
Wow.
this is one of the most interesting books that I have read, which tells me about or gives me insight into the other life on earth.
Wow, that's great. I'll definitely read this book because as humans, we think that we are the thinking animal or thinking species, and if we can communicate, we can speak, and that's why we are the most important amongst all. So I think, yeah. So this book will definitely give us one seriousness to think about the life beyond the just our existence. Right. So I think we have discussed, and it was really great discussion. But still, uh, if you want to share anything that we haven't discussed, but you have in mind that you should communicate with the younger generation.
I think we've really spoken on a lot of topics, wide-ranging topics. Um, but I think one of the things that I would like to communicate is we are at this point in time where we can make a huge difference to the history of our planet. We have, like I said, policies, programs, and the SDG goals. So we have everything in place that enables us to make this difference. So I would just say that let's each one of us try to implement what we can in our own lives and influence our own circles of influence. That's from me.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, ma'am. So yes, I'll start doing it from today, from now onwards. And yes, so I hope this will motivate many of the students, many of younger generation. So if someone want to connect with your work, So if they want to follow your work, so how they can do it? If you can just
So,
share that.
sure. Firstly, I would like you to share my email ID that you have, maybe on the screen. And
Sure.
secondly, also, I'm not very much on social media, but I am on LinkedIn, and either through LinkedIn or just writing to me, so that we can touch base and start working together.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful discussion. And I'm very sure that we got many insights, many points where we need to work on. The first being, we should not think that in order to contribute towards the environment, we should be educated into the specialization as an environment, because whatever work we are doing, whether we are working as an engineer, whether we are working as a doctor in medical field or anywhere, it's always possible to contribute towards environment. But at the same time, as ma'am rightly said, if we are properly educated, if we are studying environment, then we get the larger bandwidth to study these issues and to rightfully implement these solutions in right context. So yes, so don't worry if you haven't studied environment in your conventional way, but still you can contribute. And for students who are yet to choose the field, if you are interested, if you're deeply interested, then definitely go for the specialization into environmental field. That will give you more agency to work in this field. And second takeaway would be, there is always chance of getting eco anxiety, but what we can do is we can have action. Action is the best antidote for stress. So start doing whatever we can, influence our circle of influence. So start working on that, and definitely it will pave the way for higher contribution and the betterment of the world. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am. It was
Thank you.
absolutely pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dhananjay.